These scenes were filmed at the South Devon Railway at Bickleigh, but wind the clock back 60 years and trains like this were common on the Great Western Branch from Plymouth to Tavistock. In fact, the sister engine to this one, 6430, operated some of the last trains, getting stuck in the snow on the last day of service in December 1962. These so-called auto trains operated on many GWR lines in the southwest, especially single-line branches where there was no way of moving the engine from one end of the train to the other. The train could be driven from the cab at the front of the carriage, while the fireman stayed on the locomotive keeping up the steam pressure. And so back to the Plymouth to Tavistock branch line, and here we are at Bickleigh station where trains could pass each other. Much of the track bed towards Tavistock from here is a walking and a cycling route now. Once we cross Ham Green Viaduct, we arrive at Shaw Prior platform. It was opened in August 1907. Much like Plym Bridge, it was used by locals and tourists keen to explore the nearby fringes of Dartmoor. Once we go through the 307-yard-long Shaw Tunnel, we arrive at Clearbrook, where the station was to the left of this road bridge opened in 1928. From Clearbrook station, the line passed through this wooded valley towards Yelverton, where many railway artefacts remain. This line was authorised by Act of Parliament in 1854, but before that there had been at least two failed schemes to bring trains into Tavistock. Construction was delayed by the Crimean War and finally got underway in 1856, with the line opening as a single broad-gauge route 3 years later. In 1865 it was extended from Tavistock to Lanson. This is the road to the next station at Yelverton, which opened in 1885. From here there was a sharply curved branch line to Princetown, which closed in 1956. Yelverton station had 3 platforms, and to the north a tunnel and the summit of the line. The 640-yard-long Yelverton Tunnel emerged just to the south of this road crossing. Here the line ran over the A386 road on a large skew bridge, and trains then went into Horrabridge Station, which had opened in 1859. It was the terminus for Princetown trains until Yelverton Station opened. The main platform and the goods yard was on the side used by trains towards Plymouth, but a loop and a second platform were provided for trains towards Tavistock. There was originally a level crossing at the south end of the station, but this closed in March 1952. The original crossing gates were said to have the largest single span in the country. Between Horrabridge and Whitchurch Down, the next station, the line passed over the 300-foot-long Magpie Viaduct. It was originally a timber structure, but was rebuilt in Staffordshire brick in 1902. The line towards Tavistock is now running downhill through a cutting towards the site of Walkham Viaduct. It was the longest on the line at 1,100 feet, and was rebuilt in 1910 using metal girders instead of the original wooden spans designed by Brunel. It was blown up in 1965, and today the river is spanned by Gem Bridge, costing £2 million and opening in 2012. Gem Bridge is named after a local tin mine. There's little left of the original viaduct, which would have towered over this new impressive structure and rested on this stone pier. The line then passed through Grenfell Tunnel, which is 374 yards long and wide enough to accommodate a single broad-gauge track. The last train passed through here in December 1962, with services on the last day curtailed by a blizzard. This bridge in the village of Whitchurch still carries its distance marker. We're 11 miles and 48 chains from Tavistock Junction. and you can see on this sign, LAN, which reminds us that the branch line eventually went to Lanson. The final station on the line before Tavistock was at Whitchurch Down. The platform, which opened in 1906, was behind this row of houses. The embankment shows where the line crossed the street, but nothing remains of the platform, which would have been on the left here. Another bridge with a distance marker on the outskirts of Tavistock, and over the bridge into the terminus at Tavistock South, which is right next to the town's cattle market. The station site has been cleared and modern buildings replace the covered platforms and goods yard. Little remains to show there was ever a railway here now.